Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Nine Lives Energy. My name is Chrissy Smith. Where together we energize your body from the inside out. Welcome to Woosday with Deborah Robinson. We're so glad to have her with us. We apologize for having to move our regular scheduled program to an extra week. The energies of the last eclipse were really affecting me, and I just could not get behind the camera. I mean, I was just doing my best in order to get out in front of the public eye. So having to be behind the camera and uh try to pretend to be somebody I wasn't just didn't really feel authentic to me. And that's what I'm all about, is making sure that authenticity and trying to do whatever it is that your soul has chosen to do and what God has called you to do. How are you doing, Deborah? It looks like we had a little bit of issues this morning on my end.
It's part of the technology world, so hey, it
That's
happens.
right. Well,
All that matter
I'm
is this present moment. We are here.
that is right. That is right.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful present moment it is to share space with you this morning. So, tell me about how the last eclipse has affected you personally. Have you seen any changes or
Honey, when
anything
I say
around
change,
you that you have kind of be like, mm-hmm?
oh yes, when I say it definitely Libra. Libra is my fourth house in my natal chart. So it's Cancer, but sitting in astrology sign of Libra. So I knew that, it was going to be family oriented, and it was family oriented, and looking deep down into the dives of, what those structures and those dynamics look like because they're being disrupted with Pluto. With
Mm-hmm.
Pluto being in Capricorn, and that's another earth sign. And so it's like it all has brought up some relationship dynamics that I have avowed myself to according to tradition, religion, and other things, and dismantling all of that. So because the eclipses are all about our shadow work that needs to take place. And so
Yeah.
that we had the annular solar eclipse, and it was in Libra, which is ruled by Venus, and Venus, some Venus power is showing out because then this lunar eclipse that we are going to have 14 days later from the time that we had the solar eclipse on the 14th. So on the 28th, we are getting ready to have that lunar eclipse and a full moon and a full moon. So it's like now we shifted
Mm-hmm.
from the mind because Libra has to do with our thoughts, with our partnerships, our marriages, our vows, our agreements. And then Mars was in there cutting up, and so thus we have war. And so again, nothing to fear. They doing what they got to do, and we're doing what we have to do because we understand we're shifting. We are moving into a new whole dispensation of life where humanity is going to be recognized because there's going to be balance. At the beginning of the year, we found out that this was a 7 year. So it then so happens here you have this spectacular moment with the ring of fire, which you were able to send me a beautiful picture of that moon in the heavens. And it's like, wow, that's something, that's some big energy that's here. Plus, with Libra being a cardinal sign, the cardinal energy, the initiator of the new, of what we're stepping into, is speaking loud. It rules the seventh house, and Venus ruling this one, and then the one that's happening Saturday is going to be in Taurus. Its ruler as well is Venus. Venus is our
Mm-hmm.
beauty, where we've got our value at, and the valuation of things have significantly gone under and is going under scrutiny now because we're having revolts in our working, the way that we've been working for our government, for the United States, and with the different companies that have been allowed to be corporations, to be employers. Well, fairness hadn't happened. That's another thing of Libra, equality. So all these things are being addressed. And when you have these new eyes
Yeah.
to look through, you are hopeful, you're harmonious like Libra is. You've settled all of your harm because Venus is love, looking at these different relationships, whether they're platonical all the way up to agape love, that intimate power that needs no understanding because you don't harm yourself, because self-love is big in Taurus. We're looking at ourselves, our self-value, re-evaluating these things. And one of my friends had to bring to my attention, and she was like, do you realize that the time that you purchased your home, and when you look at it now, the value of it is increased. Yes, it's making it hard for people, but at the time when I made the investment, look at the return that's there now. And so, and that is exemplified through Jupiter being in Taurus, how it
Yeah.
makes at the same time, we're looking at the bigger picture. So if we don't look at the bigger picture, then there is despair, there is lower energy, and our energy is so focused now that our algorithm is now attracting only that which is relevant, that we're taking in, because we're the ones that are outputting the energy for the collective to move this along. Everybody is in their respective place, and it's very powerful. Now, yesterday on the 23rd, honey, we stepped over into the Scorpio energy. Intensity, big intensity. And so while these relationships are at the core of everything, because again, at the beginning of the year, determined 2023 is a 7 year. And here we have this solar eclipse that happened, and it happens in the seventh house. And now it's like, wow, now you've got in Aries, you've got Chiron there, and you have the North Node. The North Node and the South Node, they shifted on my birthday. I won't forget that. And 18 years of what? The healing of the self, to understand the self, to be in our power. And at this time, athletes are doing some phenomenal things. So the physical energy is good, it's fiery. It's at the beginning giving us the opportunity to have that endurance. And then when you look at Mars, that has just now left Libra, and now it has shifted over into Scorpio. Scorpio, oh my goodness gracious. Let me read this love poem that this person wrote in regards to Scorpio. And the love letter to Scorpio is by Ahmad. And I'm going to spell the last name because it looks like a beautiful name, and I do not want to mispronounce it. I'll put it that way because I don't like all that mess up stuff, but just what I said. All right. It is by, the last name is Alsayyed, and the first name is Ahmad. And I found this that I had saved it, and I was like, wow, how perfect it is. And it says, a love letter to Scorpio. Ode to Scorpio. Oh, dear Scorpio, how you love to go deep. You feel so intensely, it is often hard to sleep. Shallow waters simply don't quench your thirst. Into the core of your psyche, you love to be immersed with eyes that can pierce straight through the veil, the same way a Scorpio would through its tail, captured by pain, transformation, and death, forcing us all to take a deep, loving breath, forcing us as we take a deep, long breath which you are weary. You are dedicated this life to face the shadow, territories where others are only willing to tiptoe. In and out of the underworld, you seamlessly travel with such ease and grace, Hades himself would marvel. Fascinated in whatever gets closer to your soul, as deep on the inside you feel a big black hole, a quality you've embodied since you were a youth. You have access to vast reserves of inner power to such a level that would make another cower. Truly relentless in your search for truth, obsessed with the nature of all things hidden, comfortable with darkness, you don't shy away. Rather making it an opportunity to trust more and pray. Loving and feeling so extremely, you find that very scary. Hiding it from others due to betrayal being something of. One of your gifts is teaching us to face our fears and recognize that there is sacredness in our tears. Absolutely. So I wanted to read that because Scorpio is where the sun is going to be for this cycle. As I said, we just stepped into it on the 23rd. And when we stepped into it, it was like, wow, we stepped going down because Scorpio is about death, DEPTH, the dark, going into the darkness. And as fall came in, now we are entering and down into the darkness where the hidden things are. It is the eighth house in the astrological, on the astrological wheel, the calendar. It rules the eighth house, and it is definitely the surge. And here's some of the attributes of it, and it has the key word of I desire. And so it is a water sign. It's fixed as far as the modes are concerned. We have the cardinal, and then we have the fixed, and then we have the mutable. The Scorpio is the fixed. And its ruling planet is Pluto, planet of transformation. It's the detective, the sorcerer, the therapist, the surgeon. Its esoteric meaning is the destruction of the personality, the duality part. Wow, isn't that something? But for the purpose of reconstruction, knowing the soul as a singular person. Tenderness is acceptable because me and my sister, we were talking about this yesterday because of the intensity, because she is a Scorpio. And we were talking about, that intenseness that the Scorpio energy has. That thing is definitely about power. And as we look at our Capricorn and look at Pluto being in Capricorn, and Capricorn is our big capitalism. That's where it is. The money, that's the work, the big corporations. It's our careers, and Pluto is in there transforming what we have been used to. That is changing big time. It has to change according to us moving into this new era of Aquarius. And Aquarius keyword is I know. And so now we are moving from, I'm shifting in a very big way over to the Aquarian energy. And right now, because we're in this phase of Scorpio, and it's going to have this lunar eclipse on Saturday, so the sun will be in Scorpio, and then opposite of it, 180 degrees, is going to be Taurus. And Taurus is about I have, and it is, again, as I said, Jupiter is in there, and then you have Uranus in there as well. And Uranus is that God mind. It rules electricity, it rules earthquakes. And on October the 7th, the same day that the war happened, also there was an earthquake in Afghanistan, a big one. And so, these things we're being able to see how they're correlating and how they're happening together. Jupiter is still retrograde, as well as Uranus is still retrograde, which means that, we are simply looking at the things that we have. As I said, that Venus is the ruling planet for Taurus as well. So we've got these values, what we're looking at, what we have values. And our values definitely, with there being Venus right now, is in Virgo. So it's asking us for the practicality now, as well as Taurus being a earth sign, and it's very practical. And we get feedback, Chrissy. I hear myself vibrating back, like mocking myself. Can you hear me okay? She's working on it, still having some technical difficulties. So anyway, I'm gonna keep rolling while she's working on that. So when it comes to these opposites that are going to be happening on this full moon, and it's like, what are we detaching from? And these, we're detaching from these relationships that we have known as work. We're detaching from these relationships that we've known as love. We're detaching from the relationships that we've known as health. That's what Virgo is about, the sixth house, our food, and taking care of ourselves and loving ourselves. And the earth is ready for us. And so that energy is spread throughout. And this weekend is going to be phenomenal. With Scorpio also, this is the time that we honor the ancestors, the dead. And this was ages back when that relationship did happen. And then when the teachings came in and disrupted how nature and humanity worked together, and the teachings changed, and so therefore the misteachings of what death is all about, the concept of how the life cycle truly works, was overshadowed by this scary concept of causing us to be subservient to powers. It was presented as, you don't mess with the darkness. But Scorpio, baby, when I say it is about the darkness and how the word occult, that has been misconstrued for sure. And occult just means magic. When we realize that we are some magical beings, honey, we some magical beings, and it is the time, we're in that time that traditionally it was celebrated. It was a time that we honored those that have traveled back and stepped out of the physical plane. Because, you know, like one of my friends was asking me, what is it that I do? And I was like, you know what? I hadn't found the clarity yet, but guess what? It has become clearer now. And that's what we are in, that phase of where clarity is happening. That's Pisces. We're no longer going against ourselves in the fish, going in opposite directions, which that was taught incorrectly too, because we are duality, honey. We are earth as well as we're heaven. We came from the heavens, from the stars, and then we came to this place where the physical exists. And then we merge the two together. We become a living soul. That part is true. We become the living soul. And so it's like, because of the religious background that shut out astrology, and it shut out the going into the darkness, and knowing that it was okay to go into the darkness because we came out of the darkness. And so the teachings were misconstrued, misinterpreted, and all that. It caused a separation. And so now the knowledge, the Aquarian mind, is taking its form. It is operating from its keyword, I know. So we are walking into that. And during this time, Saturday, when this full moon is going to be happening in Taurus, where Jupiter is about our beliefs. we get to question what is it that I believe. It has to do with religion. It has to do with higher learning. We are being called from the depth of the higher learning. It is rising up, and with Scorpio, it brings up all the hidden map. That's what water does. And so it is bringing forth and healing. It has that transformational power to heal where the pain is, because that's what me and my sister was talking about yesterday when it comes to Scorpio, the pain that's involved in it. When I was in the astrology, applied astrology with Deborah Silverman, and there was this story that's been passed down in regards to the 12 energies. And so this morning I printed just the Scorpio part. And this is from the part where after Libra has gotten its instructions and its purpose for being here. And so now we get to look at this from the 8, from the perspective of the 8 window, which is the life cycle, which never ends, turns on its side for us to be able to look at the infinite side of us and how we are merging it here in this physical. We're here to heal the human conditions. And so that's the purpose for us being here. It is the Game of Thrones. And so we are moving forward without violence. Without violence, we are, and it shall be for our entire planet. But listen to this. And Libra stepped back into play. To you, Scorpio, I give a very difficult task. You will have the ability to know the minds of men, but I do not permit you to speak about what you learn. Many times you will be pained by what you see, and in your pain, you will turn away from me and forget that this is not I, but the perversion of my idea that is causing you pain. You will see so much of man that you will come to know him as an animal and wrestle so much with his animal instincts in yourself that you will lose your way. But when you finally come back to me, Scorpio, I have for you the supreme gift of purpose.
And transformation.
The smart lady. And so that's
and
what I'm
transformation.
Yes. And with
you can transform. You can transform your life no matter what mistakes you've made, no matter what things that have happened. It's like this was for your learning.
Absolutely. So
how grateful are you to be able to have eyes to see, ears to hear, you know, a heart to feel, so that you may know what you need to know so that you can transform. That was awesome. I'm glad I worked out my issues. I don't know what's going on with my computer. I had to log in with my phone. So my apologies. I appreciate you taking the steering wheel, Deborah.
We were doing it together.
Obviously, I'm being asked to transform my thinking and not letting things get out of control. So anyway, I don't know what's going on with my computer, but I'm like, where there is a will, there is a way. Thank you, Scorpio.
Yes, when I say, and I'm going to also, while I'm here, I have this guidebook from some cards that I have, and it's called Moonology, and it's by Yasmin Boland. But this is in regards to the Taurus moon, and it sounds so wonderful. It has, your dreams need a practical plan. And that is so true. We're being taken to slowing down because anxiety and stress and the way that, you know, we've been systematized to work hard. And so now the spirit is letting us know, the guides are telling us is like, do it from a practical perspective and you will preserve your life. You will be whole and healed. So it's the full moon in Taurus. Sometimes you need to weave a bit of magic, and sometimes you need to be practical. And sometimes you need to find a combination of the two. This card suggests that this is where we are now. You need to use the laws of attraction to draw in what you want, by imagining it, expecting it, and welcoming it. And this is new because we are, like I said, Venus is ruling these eclipses that we're having. And so we get to look at what we're desiring to be different than that of wanting what somebody else says the American dream is.
Yeah.
That has gone to kaput.
What is your dream?
Absolutely.
What is your
now
dream?
we are becoming these creative beings with Aries and Libra. So it's like our relationships are changing and they're being transformed to be more loving. Oh my goodness gracious. But you need to balance that with taking down to earth steps towards your goals. This isn't about wishing on the moon and hoping for the best. It's about making something like a list of bullet points about how to achieve your dreams. If you're asking about money, this card heralds a change of financial fortunes depending on both your past actions and what you're expecting and therefore attracting. Laziness could explain your current situation. If so, change that and own it. Chasing money doesn't work. You need to chase a dream. Jealousy or envy create negative energy and attract negativity. More exercise is calling for. So there we have that with this moon. And so we can look at those different areas in our life and we can see things are truly shifting. You've got Saturn that's going to be direct on the 4th of November, and it is still in Pisces, and that's definitely all about our wisdom that we're learning because Pisces, again, it's the energy that is on the way out, and then you've got Aquarius that's on the way in. So it's happening parallelly. It's happening parallel. The old is going out and the new is coming in. And is it going out in a very forceful way? Yes, it is. And so our empathy and our compassion, our community, and we can reach out, help where you can help, be of service. And that's big where Venus is in Virgo at this particular time. And it's calling on us to be of service because that's the house, the sixth house. The sixth house is about domestication. It is about the one, and it's about the cosmic egg of something new because Virgo is, it's about the nurturing. It is about the excellence. It is about, and so Venus is there for us to see. Now is the time where our energy and whatever the energy is for you, if it's sending out vibrations into this universe, because our entire world is healing from the old, and the new is coming in. So when you look at the second house where this full moon and where our finances are changing, they're definitely changing. And when we look at our agriculture is all the materials. You can buy them. And so second house as well as the eighth house, which is Scorpio. Scorpio definitely is about money. It is about our healing. It's about surgery. It's about precision, all those things. And it is water. And again, it's causing us to go into the depth of the hidden so that it can be healed as we have that veil that we can just talk to those on the other side, our ancestors, honor them. I'm going to be attending a dinner to honor my ancestors. Never have done that. And that is because of what I was taught in the church. Mm-hmm. And that was, again, that religion was taught in error to keep us separated and keep us into a system. And so I'm just out of that.
Yeah. When I look at Halloween, everybody's like, how do you like it? It's such a demonic holiday. And no, I'm like, it can be if you want it to be. And so that's why I try to dress with childlike innocence, and I try to do something that's fun and cute, or a character that I want to be, versus doing something that's scary. But if this holiday doesn't resonate with you, do something that you feel that allows you to remember those that have passed on before you. What did they teach you? What did you learn from them? How did they impact your life? November 1st is the day right after Halloween, which is a Day of the Dead for Latin
Right.
holidays, and I love that respective holiday because it allows you to kind of reflect on those that have gone before you and just pay homage to those, and to thank
Right.
the Creator for allowing you to have those experiences with those people in your life. And so you can look at it as an ugly holiday, or you can look at it as a time to celebrate those loved ones that you've had before. It doesn't have to be demonic. We can take our power
It's
back.
not demonic.
We can take our power back and speak the truth that we know is true, in our hearts and how we live our lives.
That's right. And they can take the time to research it,
Mm-hmm.
to research what is true. Because again, like I said, with Scorpio, when I read the characteristics of it, it's getting down to the truth. And with the Aquarian energy, again, it's about what we truly know. We came here knowing, like I said, when I was attempting to express to one of my friends what I do. And, now I'm very clear about it because I am doing the study of where I came from, which is the heavens. And then and it's through astrology, because astrology is my teaching from how to be in relationship. And it's most important. And yes, it is happening at the same time that I'm learning how to relate to my neighbor, which is everybody,
Yeah.
and then how I'm learning to relate to me. And this person that I tried being what somebody else wanted me to be, but underlying it was like, this is just not me. It's
Yeah.
not. And so now the true me is emerging, and it feels so good. And I'm having to definitely, a situation came up with my daughter, and I had to tell my daughter that. I said, "Oh my goodness gracious!" I said, "That came through the transference of DNA. That's how powerful DNA is. It has memory in it." And so, and I told her, I said, "Honey, we are going to transform that." I said, "I passed that one on to you, and I'm still here that we can actually transform it." So at first, it was like admitting it. And then I have to tell you about this vision, and it's very short. And
This
I was,
is this a vision that you had?
yes, I
How
was
long ago? How long ago was this, Deb?
2 Sundays ago.
Oh, wow.
I was
Wow.
on, I,
So when you have your visions, do they come to you like in a dream, or do they come to you as you're just kind of doing stuff and you're like, wait, I'm seeing, it's like a daydream kind of thing? How do you see your visions?
it just comes, and I just
Mm.
look at it. It doesn't have any particular order that it comes in. It's like I was in the midst of attending a Zoom service with the Path, that a community that I'm a part of on Sunday mornings as much as I can be. Well, anyway, we were at the phase of what's called spirit messages. And so we had just come out of a lesson that was taught by this lady, and it was so powerful. And so at the end, when we went in there, I saw the whole group, a collective, and we were by this river, and we all had on backpacks. And so we took those backpacks, which, by the way, were biodegradable, so they weren't going to harm the waterways. And so what was in those backpacks were guilt.
Mm.
All guilt was in those backpacks. And so we all put the backpacks in the river and it washed it away. And so I have seen where some guilt things have come in, but they were in the unconscious because Pisces deals with the unconscious thing, and Saturn is in there along with Neptune, and so Neptune is the illusory world, and so we
Mm-hmm.
have lived in an illusory world that we've lived by that's been so uncomfortable because there was the soul of us that was waiting to emerge to be the authentic self, which is what Aries is all about now. We're taking off the old patterns, the old behavior, the old clothes, and we are now putting on the dressing of humanity. That's what Aries is all about. And so we are connecting with those things that were told that were taboo that we shouldn't touch. And that was only to keep our power quiet.
Yeah.
You can't you can't destroy energy. It there are people who are still connected to the land. The Indians, they're connected to the land, and that has never died. They
Yeah.
may have been annihilated, like a lot of people have been annihilated, but you can't kill spirit.
No.
It's still alive, and we are transforming into knowing, and knowing brings us into those things that we avowed ourselves to, that we are untethering ourselves. We're taking those beliefs off. That's why Jupiter is active in Taurus, so that we can do the practical, because we weren't meant to do all this hard slave work to
Mm-hmm.
somebody else to make them to the place where we just have poverty. So we're getting to evaluate, we're getting to look at the fine print instead of just signing our names onto something. And we are now saying, no, 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 no. The laws are changing. And that is from
Mm-hmm.
the Uranus mindset, which is the rebel. Yet people are rebelling now. They're saying, no, enough is enough. And so it's like the voices are crying out in a good way. So taken off, because guilt is a very heavy energy. And when I got to tell my daughter that we're transmuting that, and she was like, "Wow, Mom, wow!" There was no condemnation, there was no guilt, there was none of that. It was that, we can transmute those things that we unconsciously did because of the system, and now we get to practice our magic because we
Mm-hmm.
understand the life cycle is not this linear thing that we were taught, and go into the dark. That's where the answers are going to
Yeah.
come up to the surface, so that we can see the things that cause limitations. And now we're moving beyond limitations, and we're being all that we can be, and we get to exercise it. And so the more that we're coming into harmony with our own selves first, and then it actually sends out this different algorithm than just being marketed to buy, sell, and
Yeah.
only unto a group. And we're reverting our currency for those things that are very beneficial, because Venus is a benefactor. And I'm about to close. Venus is benefic, so is Jupiter.
Yeah.
It's energy, meaning she is a benefactor, a reconciler. She has sovereignty over love, glamour, ornamentation, wealth, gems, luxury, physical beauty, the arts, artist, culture, and courtesan. She encourages, she is charming, social, and leans towards cooperation. If we choose to engage her support, It is wise to wait for the times of her full power when she is in direct movement, and that was from the time when she was retrograde. So now she's in her fullness. She's in Virgo, the house of excellence that will materialize, that gives birth to it, has nurturing. And so as we continue to look where we're placing our value, and as these things come up from the depth of the darkness so that they can be healed, that's our shadow work. Because that's what the moon does. It does our shadow work, those things that have been hidden from us. And this is not to blame, honey. This is to move forward. This is because I said we stepped from Libra, and then we are going down into the depths of water that transform. When you speak to water, when you construct it, reconstruct it, it changes everything. And so now, as we are grasping these things, be patient with yourself. Give yourself allowing grace, because you may step back and unconsciously do what you were doing before.
Yeah.
And that is when you turn the observer on to the thoughts and being in stillness. And now get out in nature. It's not too hot now. The weather is perfect. Get outside, breathe. I'm doing breath work so that anxiety doesn't overtake me, so that stress doesn't, because it can happen, and it does. I get stressed, but then I know what medicines to make it applicable. Sitting down and inhaling peppermint, because it invigorates, So there's so many things. That's why I love my business name, Craft for Healing, because I'm healing my own experiences. And so my physical is healing too. And I'm so grateful for where we are. So yes, step into it. Your sleep definitely can be affected at this time. The full moon is on the south side of my house, and it was gleaming in last night, and it was showing through the reflections of the blinds. And by me being a Cancer, and my ruling planet is the moon, and so I was welcoming its energy, because it is waking up those things that have emotionally been connected to. And so we are moving from being emotional driven individuals, and we are having these healthy boundaries that the Aquarius has, because we are becoming detached. That is the main integrity of the Aquarius energy, that we learn to be detached from that we have been taught incorrectly, and we take on the Scorpio energy of embracing our power that we are. We are very powerful beings, and so we're standing in the origination of us, which is unfolding. So as it unfolds, and that we can carry our emotions but not be ruled by them, because the head to the heart, there's 18 inches, and those coming together, that our decisions are from the center, the core, which is the heart. And from there, we can love unconditionally. I had somebody to just tell me that. One person was like, get your guns together. And I said, wow. And I said, you know what? I said, when you live from a peaceful place, you don't need no gun.
Well, guns can be used as a resource just as much as anything else.
Well, the thing of it is,
sometimes your words can be used as guns.
Yeah.
Your ability to love through situations, that is also a gun. So we can use our way to fight back in a loving way. It doesn't have to be
Absolutely.
from a negative point. I was really affected by the Libra solar eclipse. That's in my third house, along with Pluto is in there too. So I'm
Yes.
definitely here to transform my mindset around relationships. I haven't picked up on the energies yet of this eclipse. However, my midheaven is in Taurus, Venus is in Taurus, my moon is in Taurus, and Chiron is in Taurus at 5 degrees. So since the eclipse is happening at 5 degrees of Taurus, I think it is really kind of asking me to take a look at what do I value? What are my resources? How can I use those in order to have my legacy? Because Taurus is in the 10th house for me of
Okay.
what I'm going to be doing for my career. So it's a little bit of a struggle right now financially because the old self has changed and transformed over the last 3 years. I'm no longer this Aries warrior fighter, showing up as a personal trainer and transforming my life from an overweight child to a competitive bodybuilder and a successful personal training business for 20 years. But my soul is asking to take a deeper look. What else can you do to use yourself as an experience to share your story with other people? How can you transform yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually so that you can now help people do the inner work? Because the inner work is what is expressed in the outer physical expression. And since I have started doing the inner work, it's not so hard to show up as this energetic Aries. I do it in a different way now. I don't do it as um, let me physically abuse my body teaching all these classes. Let me physically abuse myself by restricting myself with food, which is Taurus. Taurus controls the food. How am I feeding myself? Am I feeding myself with food restrictions because I think I'm fat and I need to weigh a certain way? Am I abusing myself with substances on the weekends? Party, 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 but and that's how I treat myself like I love me? Or am I using the resources that I have around me? Like, let me go connect with nature, which is Taurus.
Yeah.
Being very earthbound, walking outside in nature. How am I recharging my batteries? What am I doing to give back to myself? And I think as long as I'm aligned with that, um, I'm ready for Jupiter to be in Taurus and give me all of this greatness that this
Yes.
uh, benefic planet. Aren't you proud of me? I said it right. can
Go,
get
Chrissy.
can give me. Um, I have so much to be grateful for. So much to be grateful for. I mean, I'm able to uh, use my creativity on YouTube and create these amazing videos for my students, and being able to connect the natural world with the technological world, which is where we're going. We can use technology for good, which is giving our energy to Facebook and Instagram and comparing ourselves to all these other people, and I need this product because I'm less. Or are you using technology in order to learn something, to
Yeah.
educate yourself, to change your relationship? This is why I'm like, okay, the relationships are not only with each other, it's the relationship that you have with food, it's the relationship that you have with technology, it's the relationship with how you treat yourself. It's the
Yes.
relationship that you have with money. All of your relationships. You are the common denominator in all the relationships that you have.
Yes.
So instead of looking at this relationship is the reason that I'm not where I'm at or I want to be, why don't we take a deeper look and think about why you have that relationship in your life, or why are you choosing to continue to blame that relationship that may no longer be in your life? You are in the position that you are in because of your own choices, regardless if you think they're good or bad. It is what it is. Let's take a minute to say, okay, I am where I'm at, and how can I get here? Let's not look at the past, because that's just going to leave you in depression. Let's use it as a learning tool, but let's not use it in order to continue to self-sabotage our future. So, well, Deb, do you have anything else to share? I know I had a lot of technology issues at the beginning. I appreciate you leading the way
Now,
with
honey,
your water energy. You just keep it moving. That's what water does. We just keep it moving.
yes, when I say yes, we do, yes, we do, yes, we do. When I say it's a beautiful thing, it's a beautiful thing. And life is good. Life
Yeah.
is good. And I get to decide that, like you said, when you realize the choices that you're making, and that's called awareness. That's
Mm-hmm.
called consciousness. Once you know, and with you getting out, this is a whole different way of teaching. So I appreciate you doing education in a different way. And I know the children act ugly, or what we call ugly, but they just doing the best they know how at the
Yeah.
moment. And so, that's why I'm always sending you positive energy, because I told you, I did. I substituted for a little while and found out I'm too jumpy. I can't,
Yeah.
no, so it wasn't for me. And I found that out because I kept being told that, I was supposed to be a teacher. No, I am, but not in the school system.
Yeah.
So anyway, I appreciate that, because you're getting out into nature, and they will remember this. They will
Yeah.
remember this. It is closing a dividing gap. By you being out in nature, you're calling uh, the ones that you have, whether they do it or not. It's a calling, and so with you being in Aries, you have to remember that that's seed time too. And so it's like we're carrying and planting in different dirt now, like you said with the Taurus. You
Yeah.
work, bring your body, your physical body into a place of health. And yes, there's more improvement. There's always more improvement to be done.
Mm-hmm.
We're constantly practicing and working on it. So kudos to you for those things that you did to transform and change yourself. Was it hard work? But it was
Oh, yeah.
worth it
It,
all day long to see where you are now and to see where you're learning. So we are all shifting, and it's not comfortable because we've had those habits with us so long, and they don't want to depart.
yeah.
And so the same thing that's out of our world, it doesn't want to depart. But there are forces in the dark, and go learn about those forces
Mm-hmm.
in the heavens, and that's all it is. Don't let anything separate you from the new discoveries that are out there. Remove all the limitations. Go beyond the fables of what we're told in regards to the dark. This is the time when you get to learn about the dark. And it's wonderful. Don't be afraid of the unseen. Embrace it, because it wants to share knowledge with you. So, yes, I'm excited. I'm excited. Bring it on, bring it on, bring it on.
Well, I think it's still rocky ground for a lot of people. I mean, I'm having to take another look at my coffee habit. But after having an upset stomach the past few mornings, I'm like, I'm going to have some tea this morning, and it was not as enjoyable, but it wasn't as bad as I had thought it was going to be. I'm just going to have to find a different way to kind of brew it, because I think I need to brew it in a coffee pot
Okay.
and make me feel like I'm drinking coffee, instead of having like the little loose leaf tea in the middle container. I don't know. It didn't give me the same response that I was looking for. But I'm willing to change, and I know that my relationship to coffee needs to change, because if it's causing me to have an upset stomach in the morning, and it used to not, there's a reason for that. Like my body's saying, you don't need to have that much anymore, or you don't need to have this on the regular every day. Let's put this in check. So drinking more water, I'm having to do that. So it's like, how can I have more water? I need to flavor the water so that I drink it. And I used to not have a problem with drinking water, but I do now. And I think it's because I look at all the things that come out of the tap, and I'm like, I don't want to drink the water because of the chemicals that I know that are in the tap water. And so, making sure that I'm drinking well water, or the best water that I can, and making sure that I always have that around, even if I have access to tap water and I don't have anything else. It's a little bit of tap water versus, okay, well, I'm doing 90% not tap water and 10% tap water, so let me do that. We're blessing the water, or charging the water with crystals.
There you
I mean,
go.
not everybody can afford to get some huge filtration system on their house. What is a way that we could do that? Putting I have a video of this on my TikTok channel, where you take a quartz crystal or rose quartz crystal, and you wrap it in copper, and you make it kind of like a little straw or a stir, and you stir it around, and it charges the water. Try that and see if that doesn't make you feel a little bit different in your day. There's a reason that we have all of these elementals. You know, our water used to be put to the house through copper. Why is it not anymore? Why is it plastic? You know, we're not getting the same type of energy from the elements that we used to. So we can add that back in there for an inexpensive price by just making a little copper straw with wrapped in a quartz crystal, and you stir it around. So, all right, Deb, thank you so much. If you would like to make an appointment with Deb for a birth chart reading, please do so. You can see her email address as it's scrolling across the bottom throughout this presentation today. It's rrobin12 at, was it Bell South?
You got it.
bellsouth.net. And she is a wealth of knowledge, and I know that you would greatly benefit from having her look over your chart and kind of see what energies are being presented in your chart for the next year coming up, and how these eclipses will be affecting your life for the next 6 months to a year. And not only your life, but in the collective. How is your little point of soul evolution in the midst of all of the collective? Thank you so much, everybody. I hope that you have a happy day.
Happy day.